Hey, what's up everyone, how's it going, and welcome back to another video. And in this video we're going to be looking at the difference between a wingback and a fullback and these play styles in top 11 2024. So let's get right into it. Over here I have a wingback and over here I have a fullback, and what I want to tell you guys is that the fullback and the wingbacks are both two different play styles and how you can utilize them. So let's get right into it. First, we'll look at how they work. Secondly, we'll look at the skills that you want to be training for either of them. Thirdly, we'll be looking at what type of formation would they be better working off in. So first, let's get right into the fullback. So as the name suggests, the fullback would just stay in the defensive line and would not move ahead in the wing. And while the fullback would often try to stay over here in the defensive line and stop the crosses or the offending team from progressing, whilst a wingback, as the name suggests, would often move onto the wing and try to cross the midfield and then make a crossover here to the ST or the AMC in order for scoring goals. So basically a wing back is a player who would assist your team whilst attacking as well, whilst a full back is a player, he doesn't care if the team is attacking or not, he would try to stay in his defensive line and would just assist in defense. So a wing back works in the presence of an ML who is a false winger, because if an ML is a false winger, then he would often drift into the middle of the pitch and would try assisting in the playmaking rather than being on the wing, and the wing back will take its position on the wing and try to assist whilst via the crosses. Whereas if a player is a fullback, he can play with either the winger on the middle right or middle left, or he can also play with the false winger, since he doesn't have to overlap. So he will not create a numerical advantage whilst you're attacking, he will just focus on the defense, whilst a wing back would move ahead and create a numerical advantage whilst attacking and would allow your ML or MR, who's a false winger, to either drift inside, or he would be very good in the absence of an ML or MR. So in case you have an ML or MR who is a proper winger and then you have a wing back as well, there is no point in having a wing back after you have let's say over here. As you can see, if there's a winger already on a wing, then there's no point in having a wing back, since the winger will also be covering the same area and the wing back will be covering the same areas, hence putting two players in the same situation and not getting the best out of either of them. In case you do not have, your ML doesn't have a winger ability, that is when you want to be playing the wing back. Or if you have a false winger who will drift midfield, then there's a point in having a wing back. Whereas there's the fullback can work with either a winger on the ML or MR, or he can work with a player who's a false winger or a normal winger as well. So take care about this, that the DL or the DR who's a wing back would want to be working with the false winger or a player who's not a winger. If you have a winger on the flank, there's no point in having a wing back. And if you have a, let's say, a winger, a proper winger, attacking winger, then there's a point to move him up the field so that he becomes a false nine and the wing back can show its potential. Next up, I just want to tell you what would be the best skills to train for a wing back. In case of a wing back, you really want to be training the crossing, the speed, and the tackling marking, obviously, but you also want to be training the crossing and speed of the player. Whilst the full back, there's no need to train the speed and crossing that much. You can obviously train them to a normal level, but mainly you want to be training the tackling and marking of these players. As far as the special abilities are concerned, if your fullback has a special ability of, let's say, an aerial defender, that is perfect. And your wingback, if your wingback is also a ML, then a dribbler special ability would be very nice. Otherwise, he can also be an aerial defender, or he can be a corner kick specialist, since you're going to be training the crossing stat of the player as well. Next up, we'll look at them inside of the matches, and that is it. That's the main difference between a fullback and a wingback play style in top 11 2024. Until next time, peace out.